You ever been in a fight, Matt? So how would you guys handle this?
Yes.
Like, to me, that's like the only free high we're allowed in life.
Let's talk about Oppenheimer for just a little bit.
Please. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I mentioned it's okay to.
Did they give you the heads up that you were going to be in the trailer?
Recently, my son asked me what happens.
With Matt King and Mike Sheffer.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Hoot and Half. I'm your host, Matt King, with my co-host here, Mike Sheffer, whose birthday it is today.
Yep.
Happy birthday,
Thanks,
Mike.
guys. Thanks. Yeah, I asked you last week when you'd be available. You said Tuesday, and then I was like, that sounds great. And then I realized it's going to be on my birthday. I thought, what a better gift than to share it with one of my favorite people, Josh Peck, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back.
Are you going to do anything fun?
I mean, I had like a little bit of a pool party over the weekend. I think this is fun. Truly, like, hey, you want to hang out with Matt and Josh for like a couple hours on your birthday? Yeah, why not? This is a great day for me.
Birthdays are overrated.
I think so. I mean, I love the love. It's nice to get a lot of texts. It's like, it's a little bit of a day where people, you remember how many friends you have, or for some people,
Are you a birthday wisher?
Like, you keep a list.
Oh.
Right? Like, I pray for my enemies, but I make a list.
It's the worst when like you text somebody like happy birthday and they never respond and it's like a year later
And that's
like happy birthday again.
Yeah.
I have a few of those relationships where it's like the only time we're texting is to wish each other happy birthday, but it's fine. I'm okay with it.
That's nice. At least they're responding back with a happy birthday.
Yes.
How do you know, though, if it's somebody's birthday? I feel like that's why I still keep a Facebook, because Facebook is the only one that's telling me whose birthday it is. But I don't think Instagram has like birthday.
No,
like,
they don't.
Tabs.
I don't get
it.
notified.
But like I feel like now on like iMessage, like if you have a birthday like exchange, it'll be like, do you want to save this in a calendar?
Oh yeah, like
so
for the
sometimes I've been
contact.
doing that.
If I save a birthday, I'm like, I am such an adult.
Yeah,
Like, if
it
I
feels.
put it in my calendar, I go, good for me. You know?
Did you have a lot of birthdays though as a kid? Did you have like any big themes for them?
Oh yeah, I had the token bowling party one
good.
year.
Laser tag combo?
I wanted a laser tag party. I'm not sure if I was ever allowed. Possibly.
Not allowed to have a laser tag. What? The mother didn't like having digital guns shooting them at your friends?
It was a little too physical for her. She didn't want me
A
to
no
wheeze.
contact sport.
Yeah, do you remember the laser park in New York near Times Square?
Oh yes.
This was hot.
Yeah.
It was underground, and it was the first of the 90s laser park in New York.
Ooh.
And I spent a lot of time there.
There's nothing like going to laser tag and going into that like debriefing room before
Where they
Yeah.
play the video.
You feel like you are going into battle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the
The
room is all
rush.
blacklit, so all the paint is blacklit. You can see your shoes and like who's got a fake tooth when they smile.
Yeah, you would like tell your friends before, like just wear all black so nobody can like see you when you're in the dark.
I had a bad fatherly moment with the best intentions where I got my son hyped on laser tag. And he's only 5.
Yeah,
but
that's a good age.
I showed him video and I was like, this is cool. We'll go do this. So he's hot. He's like, we got to do it. He's obsessing. I'm like, it was spring break or something. I'm like, we're going. You have time off from preschool. Let's rock. So we go to Ultra Zone in the Valley, shout out. And we go there, and we're there the first people of the day, right? Because I'm like, I don't want it to be too busy, right?
Yeah.
And so there's literally 3 people on each team. Like me, him, another person, and like 3 people on the other team. But it's dark, sometimes a little foggy in these places.
That's not enough people.
It was
I'm
awful.
gonna be just like running around like, can I just find anybody to shoot? Okay, go on.
And the spirit of battle overtook me, which means I would be terrible on the battlefield because I left my comrade. I got split up from my son. And like, cause it's all twists and turns. So I'm there and I'm like popping people off. I'm shooting their base. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh crap, where's Max? Cause I was like literally flanking him the whole time. And then I'm like, oh no, I'm like, okay. And I'm like looking for him, and no more than 15 seconds could have gone by.
Yeah.
But I just see him blaster dragging on the floor.
That's exactly how I was picturing it. Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. He must have been terrified.
Oh man.
But you went Full Metal Jacket, just spray and pray, shooting around,
Yeah.
forgetting that you were a father for 15 seconds and
It's
tapping
the
it.
fog of war.
Yeah, you got to tap into your instincts, your killer instincts.
They didn't create the term fog of war for nothing. It's a real thing.
Okay. Did you ever have any characters show up to your house at a birthday party? Like a
yes.
Power Ranger or a magician or a Bugs Bunny character?
For my 7th birthday, I remember having a very janky clown, slash magician. I might have been younger because I think 7th was at the Discovery Zone.
Oh,
The
that's
DZ.
a great.
You had that in Dallas?
Yeah, man.
Ooh, say more.
Right
say
there
more.
off the tollway, the DZ, man. They don't make them like they used to. I'm talking like a massive 100-yard like ball pit that they would have.
Yep.
You could zip line into the ball pit.
That was living.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And janky. It was funny. I was recently in my buddy's 2-year-old's birthday, and they had basically like janky Mickey at the party because you can't actually go as Mickey.
Because copyright issue.
Right.
Right.
Although I think Steamboat Willie now is officially
Royalty free.
royalty free.
Because it's over 75 years.
Yes.
Nobody
yes.
wants a Steamboat Willie at the party. He'd be like black and white.
Yeah, like doing this. Yeah.
And basically we called him Hip Hop Mickey because this kid shows up in like an off-brand Mickey suit and he's like doing Mickey adjacent gestures and phrases, but then he's sort of like breakdancing.
Okay.
I'm like, this is off-brand.
A New York Mickey.
Yeah, exactly.
Mickey.
Exactly. What about you guys?
Had the white Power Ranger.
Okay.
But also similar to the copyright thing, he didn't look like the Power Rangers
Yes.
in the show. He had a massive head, like a bobblehead.
Like
style.
Spaceball style?
Yes, exactly. A Spaceball style's white Power Ranger.
Okay.
But I thought he was real.
Yeah. I also had Barney one year. That was probably the highlight of my life.
Wow.
They hired a
okay.
Barney the dinosaur person, and the guy had like the exact costume, sounded like him. We lost our goddamn minds. It was probably, I mean, like it's one of my first memories is Barney in my living room.
How does Maximilian, or Max, sorry, his name's not Maximilian. How does Max, does he deal well with people in large costumes? Like if you take him to Disney, is he like, oh, come here, Mickey? Or is he like, get the hell away from me?
Yeah, he's not freaked out. He's accepted people in costumes. He has other weird quirks and like things that he's afraid of. But he's also very like, I'll show him the trailer to like a new animated movie and be like, should we go see that? He'll be like, well, let's watch the trailer. And about
He's like, who directed it? Tom? It's like, yeah, I don't
Who's the
know.
cinematographer on that? Oh yeah, big fan. Let's check it out.
yeah, like and he'll watch about 30 seconds in and like most animated movies, they're appropriate, but they're intense. They can get intense. And as soon as the intense moment comes, he goes, too scary.
Too scary.
And he'll say, he's like, not for me.
Did you mention it to me that he's like scared of swimming, or is he scared of the pool or water? Or is he?
Oh yeah.
Where's that fear coming from? How are you navigating that?
Well, when we were at that beautiful wedding together
Yes.
to the great Nick Vial and his wife Natalie, and in Georgia, my wife had set my son up because especially all children, but especially in Florida, Southern California, where literally pools are everywhere. Just for the safety standpoint, you want them to be adequate swimmers. And the reality is we waited. Okay. So now he's like 5 and he'd had some lessons. We didn't keep up on it. And it just was becoming a safety issue. God forbid he falls
Yeah.
in a pool. So we're like, okay. So we hear about this like hardcore 8-day course where they go with Coach Dave.
David Goggins?
I don't know.
Dave Goggins
Get in the pool, pussy!
runs
Stay
12 miles and then tosses him in and it's just like, find my snap.
Well, shout out Coach Dave. I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name. I feel like he's like a Navy SEAL.
Okay.
He's a lovely guy in his 50s. And basically, like, they do it for 8 days straight. And then when they're done, they are at a place where they're not going to be like doing the breaststroke, but if they fall in a pool, they can get to the side and get out. Well, it was 4 days of like, I've never seen him so upset because it's uncomfortable and it's scary. Mm-hmm. And he's already a bit of a rigid kid. He just likes his routine. He likes to be in control. And he was scared.
Do you watch the full lesson or do you drop him off and then leave?
So Coach Dave suggests that you just stay out of eyesight of him.
Okay.
So it was at a friend's house. So we're like in the living room, kind of chatting, drinking. No, I'm kidding. I don't drink. And we're like, but we can hear him screaming bloody murder. And it's like most of these things where it's like, if they know that they can get you to rescue them and pull them out, like And again, like as a parent, everything is. When my son first started going to preschool, he would cry at drop off, and it would literally. I'd sit in the parking lot at drop off for an hour after, like just consoling me.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would also say to the teacher, I'd be like, if he doesn't feel better, or if he doesn't stop crying, like I'm not leaving. Like I'll come grab him, whatever. And the teacher would say, listen. He doesn't want to say goodbye, but I promise you, he's having a wonderful day at school. It's just drop off is rough. So, all right. So Coach Dave says, stay out of eyesight. So the first 4 days, it's rough, but every day he's getting a little better, and he's doing it. And then we go to the wonderful wedding, and Paige's mom is tasked with taking him.
Oh, boy.
Because she was watching him. And God bless her, and I don't blame her. Day 5. We get the text. He won't go. And I'm not making him. We're like, Stace, we paid $500. Take him.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a non-refundable deposit.
Like, and God bless her. The rest of the time, she did take him. And that's never easy, especially when it's like your grandkid.
Yeah.
To like really, and by the 8th time, he's laughing, cracking up. And now, if you see my son out, shove him in a pool. He'll be fine.
He'll make it to the end.
Yeah.
He'll get himself out. But he's like, you mentioned, like, he's like a genius. Where has he been, like, impressing you where you're like, how do you know that at your age?
I'm not one of these parents. I'm not too hot on my kids. Okay? I don't believe in it.
All right.
Yes, in private, Matt, my good friend Matt, I have shared that, yes, he is smart about certain things, but then I always say, but he's stupid in other ways. Because these parents, this is a big, my podcast, which we'll have to have you guys on. It would be great. Good guys.
Love to, yes.
Huge
Shout out
fan
to
of the
Ben.
pod. Yeah.
Shout out Ben Soffer. We have a segment called What Are You Nuts? And to me, parents who hype their kids, especially to strangers, what are you nuts? I always want to say when someone goes, little Benny, he is such a prodigy. He's so good at math. I want to go, in your opinion. In your opinion, he's great. He's advanced.
You were raised with a mother, though, who was like
the worst.
known to
Oh,
be,
yeah, I had PTSD by it. Because growing up, my mom was always like, you're the best, honey, and we're going to ride this thing as long as we can. Like, I didn't know that I had basically gotten into a life contract with my mother at 14. I was like, why are we notarizing this, Mom? I'm 11. Anyway, yes, he's good at certain things, but I get the ick when parents talk highly of their kids. Like,
Yes.
They're 5.
I would
Right.
talk about it with you guys privately, and I really, to my mother-in-law, please, it's no holds barred. I call them, I go, can you believe these children?
Right.
How exceptional they are? 1 in a million, and then I'll talk shit on other people's kids. I'll be like, see little Ricky there? He sucks, We can't shake, lazy eye. But, but some parents, they'll just, how do you, it's a silly question because I don't think you can ever imagine the kind of parent you're going to be till you have them.
Yeah.
But what kind of parents do you think you'll be?
I feel like I'm going to be like your mom and be like, they can play guitar, he can do taekwondo, he can do math in his head. He's the greatest kid in the world. He's going to be president one day. And I have to remember to like,
Pump it back.
yeah, pump the brakes. Nobody cares about your kid, Mike. Just live in the moment.
Sam's friends with Casey Neistat. Doran can do like 80 pull-ups. I'm a fan of the Sheffers.
Mike's doing a podcast with Josh Peck. Johnny's engaged. Yeah, my parents. Yeah, that's what my parents, the same way as yours, couldn't say enough good things about us. Sometimes you want to hide behind a curtain, but I do think it makes for like really confident, well-rounded people. So there's good and bad.
I want to
both
be
of
a
it.
dad that instills a good sense of curiosity in my child and like let him chase his questions about the world and answer them together. Like why is the sky blue? Let's look it up together. And hopefully he's interested in things, but like I also don't want him to be interested in things that I want nothing to do with. Like
Right.
if he's like so into snakes, I'm like, we're not getting a snake, bud. That's just
Like
not
if you have like a reptile kid.
yeah, the reptile kid. I'm a little stressed about that.
No one wants a reptile.
No.
Just you have to like go to the store and buy crickets every week to
And buy
feed their
mice.
tarantula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever smelled the Peck coat?
Ugh.
It's rough.
And yeah, But like, what if that's what your kid wants? What if he's like, hey, I read this book about reptiles, Komodo dragons. Can we get one? You're saying no?
I don't know. Let's find a friend who has one, and we can go over there all the time, and you can play with it.
We'll get a museum membership.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Or we'll just go to the Petco. You ever strolled to Petco?
It's insane in there.
It's fun. They got fish. They have small varmint. It's a nice.
You know when you get cornered by that aunt at the family gathering and you feel like you have to bend the truth? You know, the one who asks, well, when are you getting married? Or what's going on with that promotion? Or why still haven't you moved out of mom and dad's basement? Only for her to not really listen and then to just judge you. While you may have to grin and bear it with your family, you shouldn't have to feel that way when talking to your doctor about that rash that weirdly looks like your high school crush, that you maybe eat a pizza too many times a week, or something else. Enter ZocDoc, the place where you can find and book doctors who will make you feel comfortable and actually listen to you. And we're not talking about a few. We're talking about tens of thousands of doctors, all with verified patient reviews, so you can make sure the vibes are vibing before you meet IRL. With ZocDoc, you get more options than you know.
Are you that one friend in the group that loves to treat yourself? It's okay. Honestly, we all do it. You know, get a pedicure and opt for the extra 10-minute foot massage with a green tea infused lotion. Well, if you're one of those treat yourself to the top option with everything in life type of person, why settle when finding a doctor? It is your health after all. With ZocDoc, it's the place that you can find and book tens of thousands of top-tier doctors, all with verified patient reviews. So don't settle. Go for the best and find the right doctor for you. With ZocDoc, you've got more options than you know.
And we all know there's things in life that you have to compromise on, like going to the grocery store that's always out of everything just because it's nearby. But when it comes to your health, there is no compromise. So don't go back to that one doctor who uses your appointment to catch up on the latest headlines or their family group chat or the crossword puzzles just because they're available right now, or take your slightly sketchy insurance.
Instead, check out ZocDoc, the place where you can find and book doctors who will make you feel comfortable, listen to you, and prioritize your health.
ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you and instantly book appointments with them online. Once you find the doc you want, you can book them immediately, so there's no waiting awkwardly on hold with a receptionist. And these docs all have verified reviews from actual real patients. We're talking about booking appointments with tens of thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed, credible doctors and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat basically any condition you're searching for. The typical wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between 24 and 72 hours. That is it. You can even score same-day appointments.
Go to ZocDoc.com/Hoot and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Hoot. ZocDoc.com/Hoot. Check it out, download the app, use our link, and now back to the episode.
And yeah, remember whenever you went over to that kid's house, the small animal kid,
Yes.
their room smelled like hay.
Yes.
Oh, the moment you walked in the door, you could smell it, and it could be in the furthest room away, and you knew. God, I remember, I had a kid who had like a python, and I had a pet hamster, so I loved little rodents, but we went over to his house, and I had to watch him feed a live mouse, or he fed a live mouse to the snake in like his parents', master bathtub, and it was just us sitting around watching this go down. Scarred me for life.
Seems just like a safety hazard to have a deadly animal living in your house that could escape and kill your whole family. I don't see the upside to that, but
It's wild.
Yeah.
I remember once my mom and I, we had this thing growing up. She was a single mom in New York. So we would just like randomly go broke, like out of nowhere. She'd tell me, hey, we're moving. And I'd be like, great, when? She'd go, tonight.
Whoa.
And I'd go, where's the moving truck? She'd go, no moving truck. And we would be basically moving from an apartment to like a
smaller apartment.
yeah, to like basically like a month to month.
Okay.
Like usually like there was furniture in it, but it hadn't been updated for 35 years. Like basically like I have enough money to float us for a month, but I cannot sign a lease and
Wow.
we cannot afford this.
Just
place.
you and her.
Yeah. And I remember over this summer, there was this family from Chattanooga, Tennessee, who had moved into the place next door and they had kids too. And we bonded over being broke. But I remember they had like a gecko or a chameleon they had a chameleon, and it would just hang out on the curtains.
Just with its eyes going like everywhere.
But it would like blend in.
Yeah.
And shit. So I'd be looking out the window and I'd be like, "Hi, Dan," you know, and Dan's like turning red to orange to white, and I'd be like, I'm broke. But
I got to make something of myself, damn it.
I don't think this is for me.
Yeah, it maybe keeps the flies away. That's probably a good upside for keeping a pet like that.
Like
Keeps
a
the bugs
bodega
out.
cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keeping the rats away. Sometimes these ecosystems can kind of work themselves for your own benefit.
So how would you guys handle this? Recently, my son asked me what happens when you die. And I had told him in the past about because he has sadly had grandparents who've passed away and stuff. And I've said, people become angels. And then I must have given him some sort of standard picturesque of that then you're in heaven and blah, blah, blah. And recently he said, Dad, when you die, when you meet God, do you really have to go up high, to heaven? Because I don't like heights. And I was like, no, you're kind of everywhere. You're like the wind. I was like, you're like,
wow,
you're everywhere. And what would you guys say?
Well, first of all, that's beautiful. Did you just come up with that off the spot in the moment? You're like the wind. That's like a Native American proverb. Feels like That's really good. Did he buy it?
For now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good for now.
Okay. Okay.
My first instinct, though, I would just have to go in the other room and read on Reddit. Dads of Reddit, what do you tell your kid when they ask what happens when you die? And find a comment that I feel like I identify with and just say that. I don't know.
I would probably flip it around on him and be like, what do you think happens when you die? And then let's see where their brain is at and kind of gauge maybe where, what they're thinking, and then kind of maybe steer them or just let them have that. But the best definition of heaven that I heard is that everybody's heaven is what they want heaven to be. So if you want heaven to be up in the sky with all your pets, that's what it is. If you want it to be nothingness, that's what it is. Because no one really knows.
Yeah.
I mean, haven't come back and proven it. But I think, just whatever you think it is, hopefully it's a good thing. That's what it is.
What do you guys think about, I think Elon Musk said that death is really the only and greatest gift that we have in life, because otherwise we'd have no incentive to do anything ever.
Yes. No. Death makes us realize how important just being alive is, and it gives us motive and passion to do everything in our life. Without death, it would be meaningless,
Yeah. The other thing I've heard is when people ask what is the meaning of life, the meaning of your life is to find the meaning of your life. That's how you know. That's a good goal for you, is to find out what it is. And that gives you the motivation to go out, meet people, try things, eat foods, figure it, keep doing things in your life until you discover what the meaning of your life is. A lot of people say that when they first become a parent, there's a part of your brain that opens up that you never realized was inside of you, whether that's an energy you tap into or a love you tap into. Can you in your mind find a difference of how your brain was before and after you've had a kid?
It's like being given keys to a city that's already built.
Okay.
You didn't, it's the only relationship you have it is with a parent, in the sense of I had to get to know you guys to love you. I had to get to know my wife to love her.
Sure.
I didn't have to get to know my kids. It was instant. And even though some men will say oh, it wasn't until I could bond with my kids when they were a little older, because when they're babies, they're just so kind of unresponsive.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way at all. I immediately felt this wealth, this birth of just deep humanity. And Warren Beatty has a great quote where he says, God is kind because he doesn't let people without kids know what they're missing. And
damn. So me and Matt are missing something that you found.
But
as of right now,
get there.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying there is an actual difference in how his your brain, I feel just has access to something that we don't have access to yet. I'm curious as to what if you could describe what that is.
Well, and by the way, I think I think most people could benefit from having a child. I think most of the people who say they don't want to have kids or don't have kids would be better off having them. But I do think there is a percentage of people that don't want to and shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. No shame, no shade. I respect it all, whatever your choice is. For me, I just got really over brunch. I'm not sure how much more yoga I could do.
Right.
The only like little seed of regret I have is that I would have liked to travel a little more, just because my kids are at that age where traveling is almost impossible, just because they're too young.
Yeah.
So a couple more countries on my passport, that would have been cool.
Which you
But-
still can once they get a little older. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's look, if sort of the secret to life, if there's some sort of like stoic universal idea of like get out of self, right? I feel like many of us are looking for this idea of like, how do I get out of self? How do I get out of thinking about me? And so much of life to me is like reveals itself through doing for others. Right? Like we all want to work on ourselves and make ourselves great, but like the times where I feel best is when I did an act of kindness for someone else.
Yes.
Like to me, that's like the only free high we're allowed in life. And kids are basically that. It's just a group of, it's a grouping every day of selflessness. And you can choose whether or not you want to engage in it. Because I know plenty of selfish parents.
Right.
Whose kids are getting in the way of their routine.
Whoa.
But
Yeah.
I always say like kids are hard. Like people aren't lying about that. But then on the other side is all the fun shit you get to do with kids.
Yeah.
I fucks with Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
Title. Like, clip it. Like I like kid shit. I
Yeah.
like doing those things and seeing it through his eyes for the first time. I'll run a trampoline park.
Yeah.
Like catch me at a trampoline park. So I'm getting both. I'm getting the challenging stuff, but I'm also getting this like huge experience of doing all these fun things through his eyes. For some people, that trampoline park is an inconvenience.
Right. To them going to brunch.
Yeah, right.
Or just driving them to school in the morning. It's just like, oh, I'm exhausted. Like, and now I gotta wake up. I gotta make lunch. I have to, get them ready. It's just like, it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So now not only is it hard, but the good shit's an inconvenience. So they're not getting any of it.
Yeah.
And for them, I feel bad because like for me, I'm getting so much fun stuff that overshadows the moments where you're up at 2 a.m. going like, if this kid doesn't fall asleep, it's over for me.
I'm going to commit crimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've made the shift from where a lot of people say, like you were saying, I have to get them to school. I have to make them lunch. I have to take them to trampoline park. Your perspective is I get to do all these things. I get to take my kid to the trampoline park. I get to drive them to school. And I think like one thing that always has stuck with me when you first had your kid was you were like, I just can't believe my dad like didn't get to experience this.
Yeah, I never met my dad. He had another family.
Yeah.
Right? So he had, kids and a
Yeah.
wife. And so he, you know what? Good for him.
Sure.
He got to experience it with one family.
Yeah.
But not with me. And that would be rough.
Yeah.
I think.
I just had one more Max question.
Please.
Now that he's 5, has he looked at the TV and been like, "Oh, that's Daddy"?
Yeah, but he thinks it's like a home movie. But like, also he's heard it enough that randomly at times like we'll literally be like getting ready for bed and he'll be like, "Hey Dad," and I'm like, "What?" Drake and Josh. And he doesn't know what he's saying.
Oh, he doesn't know what it is.
He just hears people say it to me a lot.
Oh, okay.
And he like knows, he's like wants to see how I'll react.
Okay.
But he doesn't know what it is yet.
I don't think so. No.
Is there going to be a day where you think you sit him down and be like, I'm going to show you who Daddy is and what Daddy does? Or are you going to let him discover that on his own?
No, I'm only going to show him Turner and Hooch and Oppenheimer. My best work.
And your Hoot and a Half appearances.
Yeah, exactly. I'll show him the first 30 episodes of me and the Vlog Squad. I try to explain it to him. Sometimes when people come up to me with him, I feel a little bad because it feels like it sort of is it's inconvenient for him. It's a disruption to his experience, even though it's like I'm never not so grateful. And I want to make the moment that I'm having with that person enjoyable for them, but I also, first and foremost, don't want it to take away from Max. So I try to reiterate to him in the few times that it does happen when we're out, like, Dad's an actor, and sometimes we have to take a second to like meet someone or take a photo. I said, but the other side of that is this is why we get a guide at Disneyland.
There's perks, baby.
Yeah, and he gets it.
Yeah, this is the tax that you got to pay for the life you live.
I'm like, this is why we have a free subscription to KiwiCo. And if you want KiwiCo, go to kiwico.com/hootandahab for 20% off. You guys don't have kids, so you don't get the KiwiCo sponsor.
No, we don't have
What
the
is KiwiCo?
It's a box. It's a box that comes monthly.
It's like a bark box for your child.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Exactly. But it's made. What are we giving them a free plug? It's made by engineers and teachers to give kids a bit of a. It basically gives them like a project that isn't that hard. Takes some time for them to do it, and then they build themselves their toy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Montessori kind of like approach. Yeah.
Were you a Montessori kid?
No, but I've been getting into like Montessori TikTok and like have been talking with Patricia. If we had a kid, should we do Montessori?
We're
just for like the
fans.
first few years. I like the approach. It just seems like teaching kids to like problem solve rather than just giving them things that I don't know, just telling them like learn this right now.
We do
rather
it.
than figure
You do
out.
it?
You do it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I went. Yeah, Max goes
Was Paige a Montessori kid? No.
You went to a Montessori school.
for preschool.
Okay.
Yeah, in New York.
Do you
Yeah.
have any memories of going to that preschool?
I do.
Okay, so what did they do at that preschool that like stuck with you?
I just remember there was more individualized. I remember when I got there, I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I didn't know how to count past 20. And I remember specifically in my head, this is like a core memory, thinking, like, obviously I understood that, like, 8 goes to 9 and 13 goes to 14. But I imagined that after 20, shit got weird. I would fantasize. I'd be like 20, and then it must be like gold, and then like Richter, like words.
Yeah.
Like that there was no sequential order. And I remember a teacher saying to me like, "Count past 20 real quick," and I was like, Richter? And she was like, mm-mm. And she brought one of like the classic Montessori tools. And like within a day and a half, I knew how to count to 100.
Whoa.
It was like just, she kind of saw where I was lacking and then used a Montessori tool to teach me, which
like
was a
that.
toy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll be right back after a quick word from today's sponsor, Rocket Money.
Did you find any subscriptions you forgot about and any you paid twice and you didn't realize it? Well, how much do you think you're paying in subscriptions every month? The answer is probably more than you think. Over 74% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about. I definitely did. Like, I realized that Patricia and I, we were both paying for the same TV streaming service on 2 separate accounts. And hey, we're married now. We need to take our budget seriously. And it was so great when I used Rocket Money and was able to realize we could cut out the other one and save our money. And thanks to Rocket Money, I'm no longer wasting money on the ones I forgot about.
So what is Rocket Money? Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings.
And with Rocket Money, I have full control over my subscriptions and a clear view of my expenses. I can see all of my subscriptions in one place, and if I see something I don't want, Rocket Money can help me cancel it in just a few taps. I love how the dashboard shows me this month's spending compared to last month, so I can clearly see my spending habits. Plus, they'll help me create a custom budget and keep my spending on track.
Rocket Money will even try to negotiate to lower your bills for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is submit a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. They'll deal with the customer service for you. Rocket Money has over 5 million users. Matt and I are 2 of them, and so are many of you who watch the show. And Rocket Money has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features.
So stop wasting money on things you do not use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/hoot. That is rocketmoney.com/hoot. rocketmoney.com/hoot.
Check out Rocket Money. We use it every day. It's truly one of our favorite apps. Use our link. Let them know we sent you. It helps support the show. And now, back to the episode.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Have you been getting into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
I want to.
Okay. You haven't got started back, or you've had a history of doing it?
I'll tell you guys, recently I was with my friend Sean Avery, who's former New York Ranger.
Yeah.
And so we went to this work event together, and he basically dropped his car off at like some KFC parking lot in Westwood at 10 p.m. at night. Let me tell you, You hang out. There's no fast food chain with a parking lot more ratchet than a KFC at past 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Shout out KFC. Love the Colonel. But like it can get a little bit hectic.
Yeah.
And so we go to take him to his car, and there's these kids who are like 17 who are basically like up to no good.
Okay.
And it was so funny because he gets out of my car and they start talking shit to us, and I'm like, here we go. And I'm like, me, I'm just about to go drive away and, maybe run through the KFC drive-through. But like, I'm not looking for any trouble. I'm just looking for a couple of tendies and a biscuit. And my buddy Sean, who's not one to shirk from a fight, goes, unless one of you kids wrestle, you better keep moving. Otherwise, you're going to get your head knocked in. And because he does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I was like, Sean, you're so confident.
Yeah.
And he goes, listen, I'm a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now. Nobody can step to me.
Wow.
Damn.
And he's kind of right in the sense of like, unless you know wrestling or jiu-jitsu, it's an incredible equalizer, right?
Right.
Because anybody can get lucky with a punch. But like, if you can take someone to the ground and you have no ground skills, you are compromised.
Yeah, it's technique over everything. You can have the buffest guy in the world against like a 15-year-old girl, and if she knows how to do those techniques to put you in the right thing, you'll be tapping out before you even know what happened.
Yeah, just don't get in fights with high school seniors. Yeah. What are you doing? I'm like, here we go. And I'm like, and he's my friend. So I'm already playing this out in my head.
You're going to have to back him up.
I'm like, if he's just getting pummeled by like 8 kids and I got to jump in,
Right.
and then that's going to be a whole.
Yeah.
And thankfully, they were just like, we're not up to no good.
Oh, it worked. He scared him straight.
Yeah, they're like, we're just artists. And he was like, what do you art? Like, what are you, painters? And they're like, no, we do ceramics. Nice kids.
So that has inspired you to want to start taking classes?
I love UFC and MMA. Are you guys into fighting?
Not really.
After I have a few beers, yeah.
No, you're not.
Oh, what do you mean? Like a UFC fight?
Oh, watching it.
Watching
I
it.
thought you meant like participating.
No.
Okay.
Just like for entertainment.
You don't go around like to bars looking for a fight at Friday
no.
night. Okay.
Fuck no.
You ever been in a fight, Matt?
I've been like in a few tussles, but like no.
Say
fight.
more.
Okay. I was on a subway. I was on the Dallas Dart, which is like a railway system.
Fun.
And
That's my drag name. I'm Dallas Dart.
And my buddy got into a fight with another like drunk guy, and they were mouthing each other off, and like the other guy's buddies were like pulling him back, and then I was trying to pull my buddy back, and then my buddy took me around and then like, put me in a chokehold, and I was trying to like hit his leg, and then I just ended up biting his cheek.
Biting the cheek?
Because I
You had
couldn't
Mike
breathe.
Tyson Holyfield on him.
I didn't breathe, so I brought the chompers out, and
You let
Did you take
go?
a chunk out?
I didn't take like a chunk out, but like I definitely pinched his cheek so hard, like there was like some popped blood vessels that didn't go away for a while. It was
Wow.
like a bite hickey on his cheek.
Wow.
Yeah, my closest friend. Yeah, that was like the most intense thing I feel like I was ever in, and I went to biting, which I feel like is like a no-no. But
I mean,
couldn't
street
breathe.
fight, everything's legal. Like you fight dirty, all you got to do is win.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't.
Mike, come on, your turn.
I mean, I've been swung at you back in my college days when you're trying to sneak into the frat that you're not supposed to go into. But I did take Taekwondo for 13 years, so my instincts were like cat reflexes, and this big drunk guy came up to me, huge guy, and I saw him yelling at this girl, and I was leaving the party, and I was like, hey, how about you leave her alone? He goes, what the fuck did you say? I said, I don't know, it sounds like this girl doesn't really want to hear from you. And then he turned around, and I saw he was wider than he was tall. He was just one of these like big yoked dudes, and he's hobbling over to me, and he just whines, and he's the slowest puncher in the world. He took a swing, whoo, and I just went, yoink, and I moved out of the way, and he was
Nice.
so embarrassed, he literally just turned around and walked inside. And that was the closest I ever came to a fight.
Wow.
The best way to win a fight is to avoid one.
Yeah, like that one time I got pushed down and I ran away.
Oh yeah, in Texas, he got shoved by a big guy on 6th Street in Austin, Texas.
There was a guy yelling at his girlfriend, and she's like, "Get the fuck off me, Brian!" And he's like, "No, you better talk. You better listen to me right now, you fucking bitch." And I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" And she's kind of like hustling away from him, and I join her on the sidewalk. I'm like, "Hey, are you okay?" Trying to establish some distance with him or her and him. And I'm like, what's your name? Let's get you somewhere safe. And then out of nowhere, this guy just pushes me from my back, and I just like, I'm falling, but like I feel like I'm just like falling for like 5 steps, and then I feel like, did I hit the ground?
Yeah, you fell.
I hit the ground. I look back.
Good manager.
I hit the ground, and I look back, and the guy's just coming at me, and I just ran. I ran to the next bar. And then he followed me into the next bar, and I'm explaining to the bouncer, that guy tried to attack me. Do not let him in.
Well, you were also, I remember
was
now, you were
freaking out.
easy to spot running through the crowd because he's the tallest person. So, like, he's trying to run away, and I just see his head, like, zigzagging through. I'm like, well, I hope he gets away. But you did. It was fine.
I did.
Yeah.
Do you feel pressure to be tougher because of your size?
Yeah, I wish I knew I was going to be this size as a child. I didn't think I would be this tall. If you told me at 7 years old that I was going to be 6'3" and very tall and broad and lanky, I would have been like, all right,
Time to take some lessons.
Going.
Right.
And I didn't know. I wish I did.
You could start up something now. Go to like go to a
I just don't want to
Brazilian
get
Jiu-Jitsu class.
If you go to a
Jiu-jitsu.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class, are you going to get injured?
No, I think it's one of the rare fighting styles where you can actually do it all the way and not be injured.
It's like a bit of a dance, kind of. Like you're just rolling with each other.
Don't
like,
tell them that.
Hey, I'm here for the dance lesson.
6, 7, 8, and roll.
We dancing.
I brought a playlist for today. It's my Taylor Swift top hits.
Because in theory, right, like no one should be sparring unless they get paid. Full out. No one, like if you're into boxing, there is no reason if you're an accountant to be taking hits to the head. It's nuts.
But that's part of the sport is taking the hits. Like you want to learn how to get hit in the face.
Yeah, but for what? Like if you're not getting paid, if you're not a professional?
I that's why we're not doing it. But people do it.
You can spar and do body shots. I
Right.
just see no benefit if you're not a professional or even an amateur boxer. Like
Yeah.
if you're not competing, why would you ever like willingly take shots? There's an old saying in boxing that it's not because sadly these guys who I'm sure they're dealing with some version of CTE, but the slang is punch drunk, right? You've heard of this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they say it doesn't happen from the fight; it happens from the training, right? Because
Oh,
they're spending
interesting.
3 months sparring,
Getting hit in the head, yeah.
They're
Over and
fighting
over.
one night,
Right.
But they're doing a couple hundred rounds of sparring before those 12 rounds.
Yeah.
And it's something I think about with Max because, as we all know, my wonderful father-in-law, the great Ken O'Brien, quarterback for the New York Jets, 10 years, no big deal.
Yeah.
I'm his son-in-law, depressing. You
Yeah,
know?
so like, we got to make Max big. Get him in a pig skin.
Yeah, well, he's like, you're not going to make me proud, Josh. So we're going to have to figure it out with these kids. And so, again, I don't want to be that dad, but I'll see Max like have a little bit of an arm, and I'll be like, maybe you'd be a good football player. But unless he's great, I don't even care if he loves it. He's not playing.
Yeah.
For what?
It's like almost guaranteed to just damage your body.
And it'll start at 12.
Yeah.
Like the moment they tackle, the moment it goes helmet to helmet, it's the detriment will begin. If he loves it, if he's gonna go play at, USC or like
Notre Dame.
yeah, it'll give him a Texas Christian,
There we go. Or UT. All right.
If he gets a nice
Right.
scholarship, maybe. But you can't know that at 12, right?
Right. But
Yeah.
but you can kind of have you heard of this book that David Epstein wrote called Range?
No.
No.
It's basically this idea of that basically intramural sports before 12 is a racket. It's a money-making scheme because no matter how good your kid is, if they're going against, if you have a kid who's great at tennis and they're so elite, again, parent hyping their kids, and they're like, he wins all the country club face-offs and he's number 7 in the state for people under 10. If young Roger Federer never picks up a racket till he's 13, the moment he picks up that racket, he will surpass your little jerk
Yes.
in 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the turning point. So to that point, you'll know by like 13, 14, you'll start to see it.
Interesting.
Surely, here we go in the comments. Allow me to apologize. Yes, of course, there are some people who flourish at 19
Yep.
who maybe weren't that great in high school.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you'll see that trajectory.
Okay.
Is this range book though about children and sports, or
Yeah.
Okay, that's what the whole book is, or is this just one chapter on it?
The whole book is, the first chapter is Tiger versus Roger, right? And it's this idea that very few sports, or very few things, let's stick to sports, benefit from hyper specialization at a young age.
Okay.
Golf does. Why? Because the ball never moves. So you don't have to adjust. So literally, obviously, everything else, the environment, the weather, the way the greens are, that changes everything. But the ball is always here. The swing, as that applies to it, will be slightly similar. Where almost every other sport is ballistic, right? So tennis, basketball, football, everything else. So what they say is that Roger Federer didn't start to like his later teen years, mostly because his mom was a tennis coach and she was like annoyed that he didn't take it seriously. Oh. So she was like, get out of here. Like, because he was just a normal kid and he was surely athletic, but he played like a bunch of other sports and was able to become the greatest ever at a later time, whereas Tiger started at 2 and became the greatest because his sport lent itself to starting really early.
Okay.
Do we talk about music in that book too? Does music, like if you play an instrument?
Classical.
Okay.
Classical music benefits from early specialization because it doesn't, there's no improvisation, or
Right.
at least on the surface.
No,
we
that
should
makes
say.
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good book.
It's interesting. I don't really remember it. I might be wrong.
You're doing a great job at explaining it.
But it's an interesting thing, and that's why, again, like when I have friends, parents who like tell me about how good 8-year-old Timmy is, and like, again, be proud of it. I don't want to
Sure.
sound like a total
Yeah.
curmudgeon. I'm like, be proud of your kid. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But when they start talking about like their 8-year-old going like, we're thinking Yale. I'm like, shut
get
up.
real.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Oppenheimer for just a little bit.
Please. I love
Once
talking
again,
about
congratulations on being in the Best Picture winner, Oppenheimer,
Thanks.
Christopher Nolan. I'm so proud of you. I think last time we did talk about like your audition process and stuff, but I'm so interested in like the post like winning the Oscar and how that goes down. If you're in the movie that wins Best Picture, do you get an Oscar?
it. No.
You don't get one?
You don't should be
No.
a statue?
Oh, no. I don't think.
Do any of the actors get it? Who takes?
Yeah, who's the
Best
who's the
Picture
recipient?
Oscar? Who gets the trophy?
Best Picture is an award to producers.
Ah,
Because
okay.
they, in theory, put the film together.
Okay.
So Christopher Nolan obviously won for Best Director. His wife, Emma Thomas, the wonderful Emma Thomas, won. Basically, it was her award for Best Picture, and the other producers, obviously. But yeah, I mean, getting to go. Basically, we as sort of the less predominant,
ensemble cast?
the ensemble. The ensemble cast, we got basically invited to the party for the people who aren't invited to the Oscars.
Right.
Still a good time.
Yeah.
Soho House, the food was flowing.
Wow.
And so it's a watch party. So you get to go, you're with your castmates, and Universal basically threw it. And then also, they had made the Paul Giamatti movie. So
The Holdovers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So now, like, we're partying with them. It's us. We're like,
You're partying with the Holdovers cast.
yeah.
Oh shit.
Good times. I got G-Mats over here, Kills over here. We are drinking a mocktail, and I'm in a rented suit. And it was fun, man. It was so cool. You know what was cool was to see it all the way.
Yeah.
And to see that process in a way where, like, obviously I have like a very small part. It's an honor to be a part of it. And it's kind of like there's no pressure. Like, Killian is as great as he seems. But I imagine, you know, it's definitely, what would you call it? Like, it's a good problem to have. But that, you know, 3 months of the award shows and the campaigning and whatnot, like, I'm sure that was exhausting. For
Yeah, it's a little bit lower stakes for you. It's like, it's all gravy. If you win, it's great. And if not, you're still in the movie and the movie's still beloved. So it's like,
Totally.
Yeah,
This is something you shot like years ago, and
Yeah.
then now you just get to see it be complete and enjoy the glow of the wind. Yeah.
The best moment is, and I've talked about this on pods before, but really, truly, this is what every actor lives for, because we're just gambling addicts, right? 90% of a gambler's career is loss.
yeah.
But you're working for, I mean, if you're they say that a baseball player, if they strike out 2 out of 3 times, they still make the Hall of Fame, right? So like for an actor, maybe if you're booking 1 in 10 auditions, you're successful. And I just remember that I audition, I send the tape in. It's like a 2-page monologue where I'm giving this like dissertation about nuclear physics and astronomy, pulled from a different movie.
Oh, okay. So you're not playing Kenneth Bainbridge in your audition. No.
This
okay.
guy knows the name of my character. You're the best, man.
I got the notes.
I'd give you all the flowers.
We'll be right back after a quick word from today's sponsor, Quit with Jones. I hate vaping. I have tried to quit vaping more than once, and it's something I struggle with, and hey, you may be in the same boat as me. Quitting vaping or smoking is a journey that can feel like climbing a mountain without the right gear. That's where Jones comes in. Jones makes a low-dose nicotine mints that are FDA approved, and I absolutely love them. Jones was started by 2 women who know the struggle firsthand. They tried quitting cold turkey countless times, but it never stuck, so they took matters into their own hands, creating the support they wish they had. And now they're sharing it with you. Jones offers holistic support to help you kick the habit, and whether you're aiming to quit altogether, cut back, or just shift your mindset, Jones understands that quitting is a spectrum, and they will meet you where you are. With FDA-approved nicotine mints, behavioral support, and a welcoming community, Jones is your partner in progress. Did you know that 95% of people can't successfully quit cold turkey, and you might be part of the 95%, and that is okay. It's tough out there, but with Jones, it's different. Their low-dose nicotine mints minimize withdrawal symptoms, making the journey smoother. Pair them with the Jones app for a winning combination. If you've done the routine of quitting on Monday and buying a new vape on Tuesday, it's time to make a change. With Jones, it's a different story. Say goodbye to that cycle and hello to a healthier you. Jones comes in a discreet travel tin, and I love the design. You can take your Jones mints with you wherever you go. It makes things so easy. So are you ready to take the first step? Go to quitwithjones.com/hoot for 20% off your first order of nicotine mints. That is quitwithjones.com/HOOT. Quitwithjones.com/hoot for 20% off. I highly encourage you to check it out, and you'll thank me later.
No, right? So they know that they need a big ensemble cast. They know that they need like young men to play like the scientists from like 20 to 40 of different looks and sort of like things. So they send out this audition, and obviously Nolan being like very careful to make sure there's no leaks. It's not pages from the script. So I put myself on tape. I recorded with the great Joe Volpes.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Joe
Joe
shot the audition tape?
Yeah, he filmed me.
I remember when he told us that, like you told me that years ago.
Whoa!
It was the craziest moment. That was.
What if they were like, good job, Josh, but
Who was that guy in the back yelling the sides?
Yeah.
I wouldn't let him talk. And then we send it in, and I remember it's one of those wonderful things of when something is that big where you go, listen, I don't get these movies, so like call me when you have an audition for American Pie 5, because I'll crush it. And my agent texts me 2 weeks later, and it just said, Nolan saw your tape, he likes you, we're in the hunt.
Within 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Whoa. Is that fast for a response time?
It's fast for a movie that big.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Wow.
And then it was like that for 2 weeks. Like every 2 weeks I get an update where like they're still talking about you. You're in the conversation.
Oh my God.
Luckily, I don't know. Is this too much like inside
No,
baseball talk?
this is awesome.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Mentally, are you thinking, though, about that every day? Like, hopefully I get that role, hopefully I get that role. Or do you kind of shelve it and just be like, it's not going to happen. But if I get the call, this is going to be great.
You really have to find your wins as an actor that aren't always getting the role. Nolan likes you. We're in the hunt. That's got to be a win.
Yeah.
After being in the business this long, because I know, because you need things to keep you warm on those cold nights where you're like, nothing is hitting. But you need a little bit of evidence, and it needs to be real data. It can't just be like, I know in my heart I'm Daniel Day-Lewis. But when you get that call back, when you do a test, when you get really close, when a casting director or someone you respect goes like, that was really good, that's got to hold you over sometimes for 6 months. So he liked your tape, we're in the hunt, was like a win.
No matter what happens.
That's a win.
That's a victory. Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Because you get very little to
Yeah.
sort of keep you going.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, luckily, so the casting director is this famous casting director named John Papsadera, or as I like to call him, Paps. And brilliant, one of the great casting directors, does everything for Tyler Sheridan, has done every Christopher Nolan movie, as good as it gets. I have auditioned for John for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
And
For Paps.
for the Paps. and along with some of my other compatriots from Oppenheimer who, like me, are like journeyman actors who've always worked, never became like some crazy star, but like have been, worked pretty consistent. And what it became with John was like, I always knew that he would probably bring me in a couple times a year because he knew I wouldn't embarrass him, right? And I was never right. 20 years. I never got a thing. I would leave the audition, John would go, I think this is the one. And it wasn't. I'd be like, John, it's not happening. They're literally texting Miles Teller.
Yeah.
I can see it on their laptop. But God bless John for believing in me. And so perhaps so again, like as all these things are, like the iceberg effect, 90% of it's under the water.
Yeah.
It was just like, he was there. He like could vouch for me and be like, he's good. I've had experience with him. And yeah, and I like, funny enough, at that Oscar party said to Paps, I was like, can you believe that 20 years I haven't booked a single thing and this was the one?
Wow.
Like, I'm so glad this was the one. 'Cause
Yeah.
I auditioned for a couple dogs for Paps. Never saw the light of day. We all got to make money.
Yeah.
Did the Bainbridge family ever reach out and just say, thank you so much for playing our grandfather? Like,
They were like, him?
Did they give you the heads up that you were going to be in the trailer? Or was that a surprise for you as well?
No, it was all a surprise.
That was one, when I went to see the trailer, I knew you were going to be in the movie, but I saw it in IMAX, it was the trailer for some other movie, and it was the Oppenheimer trailer, and I was like, I swear to God, if I see Josh Peck in IMAX in this trailer right now, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. And you had like the line in the trailer. They didn't tell you that at all. That you just saw that with the rest of us.
I think I was overpaid in that respect of like, I got some wonderful moments that, with having such a small part, but in hindsight, people now who have watched it, because I spent 1 year after we finished filming for no other reason than I've been around this a lot and I know how edits go, especially when you're a smaller part.
Yeah.
It is well within the right of a director to cut you.
The whole part gets cut from the movie.
If you are in the way, or even if you're good, but you're not pushing the plot forward, you got to go.
Yeah.
And like, I wouldn't imagine Christopher Nolan to ever have anything but exactly what is meant to be in that film.
Yeah.
So I spent a year mourning it.
right.
I was like, we are not to talk of this. Because, obviously like my good friends knew that I was in it.
Yeah.
And like, what you don't want is for them to go see it and go,
Yeah, which did I go to the bathroom during your part, or do actors do that? Like they'll say that they're in a movie and then it comes out.
I've had friends who are actors, and it gets announced, on the press. They're signed on to this cast, this project. I get so excited. I hit them up like, I'm such a big fan of these movies. Can't wait. And then the movie comes out, and
they got
they're
cut?
not in it. And then you have to wait for the extended cut, and then they're in it. But
On the Blu-ray?
It's happened like 2 times with some actor friends I have.
Well, that's good
I don't
discipline
wanna
for you to like sort of have that knowledge and take. I guess maybe did you take the win of like, I was on set, I shot the movie. That's my win for the year now. Like, was that a victory
Yeah.
for you also? Just being there?
It was, but it was funny because then after people saw it, and even my wife looked at me and said, at what point when you're in the scene when the bomb is detonated, did you think you were going to be cut out?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, word up.
The movie about the nuclear bomb, the part where you're the guy who launches it? I don't think that's going to make the movie.
Or they sub in some other actor, but it's your hand. You're like, that's my hand.
Thank God he doesn't use special effects. Could have just face replaced.
Do you not see the final cut of the movie until it is the premiere, or is there a Google Drive where you got access to it at home?
They
how does
send
that-
a link.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I mentioned it's okay too. And yet again, it's just yet another testament to Christopher Nolan. So I get a text randomly, June of 2023, and it's his wife Emma texting me saying, "Hi, Chris would love for you to see the movie before it comes out. We're going to do a screening for a couple of the actors tomorrow. Can you make it?" And I was like, "Yeah."
I got a laser tag appointment with my son. Sorry.
Sorry, Max. Laser tag another day.
I got a hot appointment at Dave & Buster's.
Yeah. Oh, I have so many points there. I can't wait to see what I redeem. And we never eat there. Don't worry, Dave & Buster's. We know the tenders aren't that good. And so I get this call or I get this text. I'm like, great. She's like, 9 a.m. at Universal at City Walk.
Oh,
right.
In the AMC?
Yeah, babe.
Okay.
Because it's got to be 70 millimeter projection.
Right. Yeah.
It's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in every other scenario, a producer would have said, "Here's a Vimeo link.
Yep.
Password Oppenheimer 1. Don't share it."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But Chris is like, if I'm going to screen this, you are going to see the way it was intended.
Yeah.
All the work that he put in. So me and some of the actors at 9 a.m. the next morning show up. And again, we're there for a screening. It's the ensemble cast, not like anyone who's got a, part the size of Florence Pugh or Josh Hartnett. It's me and a few of my friends and in the movie. And who's waiting for us?
Chris Nolan?
Matt Damon. No, It was Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
And
He's in the theater,
City Walk?
already in the seat, and you guys are walking in. He's like,
Chris is there outside the theater waiting for us and chatting, and we're talking, and he introduces the movie and kind of just gives us a quick background and says where the movie is at, which by then it was pretty much finished because it was coming out the following month. And then we watch it, and
where does he sit?
He doesn't say.
He doesn't say. He walks out.
No, but the fact that he even introduced
Does he
it.
give you guys a survey to like circle like how we felt about it?
I just asked for an autograph. And then when we were done, 3 hours later he came back. And wanted to hear what we thought. And we just chatted for another 10 minutes.
Y'all in your seats. He's standing up. Just hands in his pocket, like in front of the screen, going, "What did we think?" Or does he sit down in the seats with you guys?
More casual. He just let us talk about just kind of like we were there and we're just like all in awe of him and the film and complimenting it and he's just being humble and lovely, and then we're just kind of doing that slow stroll out. And
No critique. Did anybody criticize it at all?
I mean, I was cleaning up my icy and the nachos.
Were you at that point convinced?
9 a.m. I'm just housing Sour Patch.
Were you at that point where you were like, okay, I made the cut, or was there still like, I'm not going to get my hopes up. The movie comes out in a month. There's still time for him to cut me out, or were you, at that point you're like, okay, I think I'm going to be in this movie?
I was relieved.
Okay.
At that point, I remember I saw my part and I go, I'm pleased. This is awesome. I feel very lucky to be a part of this.
Did you text and call Paige right after, I'm in it, it's great, or do you wait till you come home to
I think I text Paige right away and I called my mom.
Oh.
Yeah. It's, again, it feels corny, but I feel like you have to celebrate these small wins because they're few and far between. And I don't know, the experience of being there and being around those actors and what's cool about it. And you're a really elite musician, right? And so when you play with guys who are at that level, is it a relief to go oh, this isn't alien to me, right?
Yes, that's such a good, when I played with Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers, it was almost reassuring that I can play with someone that good, because it's as good as I think I am, you never really know, like you said, until you step up and actually succeed there. And yes, when you play with an elite musician, when you're in a room of other people that are doing the best and you can feel comfortable with them, I think that's a great sign. I agree. Yeah. And that's how you felt seeing yourself on this big screen with these people.
Well, I just felt obviously they're so much more talented and successful than I could ever dream to be. But on the day, you just kind of go, okay, they're not talking a different language. This is just the best version of the thing that I love.
Yeah.
And so as long as I don't sink the ship, I should be able to just kind of, tag along. I'm just holding on to the back of these like
Yeah.
sharks.
You're
who are
surfing the
crushing
wave.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't fall off the surfboard. You made it through the wave.
Thankfully. And
Yeah.
I'm on a longboard and it's made of foam.
You're on a 12-footer, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kiteboarding.
I did have like one kind of fun question. You wake up, it's the year 2030, but you're only there for 10 minutes, and you only have one Google search. What do you Google?
2030. Wow. That's fun.
Yeah.
I Google, how is it that Donald Trump is still president?
All right.
What would you Google?
I would Google best performing stock of the last 6 years.
There we go.
And then I would come back and just put all my money into that stock.
You're concerned about the presidency. He's concerned about finances. I like that one.
I would just Google, am I famous?
Josh Peck, IMDb, past 5 years, yeah.
Have I made it yet? Am I going to be okay?
What would you Google?
Your question?
Best performing stock?
Yeah.
I mean, or is like price of Bitcoin?
Maybe best performing stocks.
Oh, plural?
Make it plural.
I would just want to make sure I remember them. Because if it's like a bunch of random new companies that I've never heard
we
of,
got
I'd be
10
like,
minutes.
oh, it's a Bliblibia. I'm like, I can't remember. But one I can remember.
Hopefully they would be ones you already know.
Yes. Yeah.
And nothing anything.
I feel like I would, like people, I think I would say, look up the winning lottery numbers, but I could see myself reading the 6 numbers and then not remembering
mixing
the
them.
right order. Like I only have 10 minutes to memorize 368192, 31869, and I'd waste the whole thing.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh man, what's the dumb? Okay, you guys had endless money. You got handed $1 billion right now. What's the first stupid thing you buy? Not like like even a vacation or a Bentley.
Do I have my dream house already, and then I can have the stupid thing after I have
Yes.
the dream house?
Yeah, you've got everything. You will be able to get everything you need. I want something stupid. A nice car isn't stupid.
No, I kind of want a carousel. On my
answer.
property, like a big cool carousel that we can like take the golf carts to like late at night after we've had a few
And just
drinks
ride the-
and get the carousel, but I can play the playlist, but you just get to chat with friends and like drink on the carousel lit up at night, but it's all yours and the ride never ends. That's
pretty
a
good.
stupid one. But
That's a
yeah,
good one.
I've, like,
That's awesome.
I've looked up prices of carousels. Just
What do they run?
Oh, what are they running right now? It depends what kind you
Can I
want.
guess?
Yeah.
75,000.
Yeah, that's a good one. 135,000, like a really good quality,
Elite.
like French style one that has like stood the test of time.
Horses that
75,000.
go up and down.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. You
It
don't
might-
want
it
the
might-
stationary horses. That's
It might
kiddie
be a
stuff.
little weirdly themed in the $75,000 range.
You need to hire a lazy-eyed carny to run.
We can hire Joe Volpus for that.
Yeah, there we go.
What about you, Mike?
I think I'd probably buy an airplane. I don't know if that's stupid, but that to me is
No,
like
that's the smartest you can get. Okay. Because it's the only thing in life that will save your time.
yeah, it's literally a time machine.
That's not that stupid.
No, it's smart. We need something
Stupid,
dumb,
Mike.
repugnant.
I mean,
It could be like a weird artifact, like these were not Jimi Hendrix's drum set. Who was like a famous drummer?
I like Buddy Rich's
John
like drum
Bonham?
setter. Yeah, or John
Yeah.
Bonham's drumsticks. I mean, my brain just goes logical. Like I would hire a chef so I didn't have to worry about cooking. Like, I don't know. Let me get back to you on
That's
this.
smart.
Josh,
That's
what's
smart.
yours? What's yours?
I
I'm
get
here.
it. I would just have like a team of dudes around me.
Okay.
Like friends. No. I'd buy friends.
Okay.
No, like I would just have like a team of dudes so wherever I walk, people would be like, wow, he's important.
Oh, like it's
Like
suited up,
reverse Dan Bilzerian, instead of a bunch of women, it's just
a bunch of
dudes.
dudes.
Yeah, but but fit.
Yeah.
Fit, perfect, like nice Lululemon athleisure wear on.
Right.
And like Bluetooth headsets.
Just like cool guys. Yeah.
Yeah, fanny packs.
Let the world know that you're somebody.
Yeah, we just roll up in a big Escalade. We all get out, and like they're all just like looking around. You know, I just like, yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
Good Guys Podcast, available everywhere podcasts are available, and yeah,
It's a great pod.
Thank you. I love you guys.
And follow
This was
Josh
fun.
on socials,
Thank you for
TikTok,
having me.
Instagram, everywhere. You can find Josh, one of our favorite people.
We love
You're
you,
the
Josh.
best.
Thanks
And
for
happy
coming.
birthday, Mike.
Oh, thank you. All right, we'll see you next week, everybody.
Toodles.